Nnpc'S purchase of 20% shares at Dangote Refinery is suspicious. Recent happenings have indicated that there seems to be a grand conspiracy by the apex ruling class of our nation to the extent to hijack and have total control of the nation's economy. This cannot be said to be a mere speculation or for want of what to say for purpose of seeking unnecessary relevance, but a truism as a careful look at the turn of events in the nation's economy have validated this position. For purpose of specificity, this argument will be centered on the concerns in the nation's petroleum sector. The outgone administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari spent 8 years paying lip service to the issue of revamping the nation's moribund Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna refineries, which it had claimed were undergoing turnaround maintenance throughout the lifespan of the administration. According to Vanguard News, online publication of August 30th, 2022, Group Chief Executive Officer of Nnpc'S Limited, Mele Kyari, during the State House ministerial briefing organized by the Presidential Communications Team, said the importation of petroleum products into the country will be stopped by mid-2023. According to him, the combined output of Nigeria's refineries, which is said were being revamped, and Dangote Refinery will be enough to stop importation. However, since such assurances were given almost 1 year ago, the Nnpc'S Limited, led by Mele Kyari, failed to show commitment in ensuring that the 3 refineries of Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna come back to their full operational capacity. Unfortunately, the Nnpc'S Limited, led by Mele Kyari, the statutory industry regulator and affirmatively a competitor with the 3 moribund refineries in Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna, decided without public knowledge or input to purchase 20% shares in Dangote Refinery, a private entity, thereby enabling it gain advantage over the government-owned refineries. Meanwhile, the value of 20% shares acquired from Dangote Refinery is about $2.8 billion. This move, as clearly indicated, defies every logical reasoning, as one would wonder the rationale behind supporting another man's business at the expense of the survival of government business with public interest. The question here is, what is the special interest in the Dangote Refinery? Was due process followed in the acquisition of the 20% shares from Dangote Refinery? Who approved the acquisition, bearing in mind the government refineries were still in state of disrepair? What happened to channeling such funds to ensuring the turnaround the maintenance of at least the Port Harcourt and Warri refineries? Now, the Nnpc'S Limited, led by Mele Kyari, did not stop there. It went further to become the supplier of the nation's crude to Dangote to the tune of 33,000 barrels minimum for the next 20 years. All these investments in a private facility, while the nation's refineries remain moribund, are, to say the least, worrisome. In 2021, the Federal Executive Council, FEC, presided over by former President Muhammadu Buhari, who was also the Minister of Petroleum, had approved the sum of $1.5 billion, equivalent to about $575 billion, for immediate commencement of the rehabilitation works in the 210,000 barrels per day Port Harcourt refinery. Till date, the Port Harcourt refinery is yet to process a drop of petroleum products. Meanwhile, Mr. Buhari, on May 2023, 1 week to the expiration of his administration, hurriedly commissioned the Dangote refinery that is only 80% completed. Findings indicate that the refinery may not be functional until next year, 2024. Nnpc'S, the industry regulator, had advised the House of Representatives Appropriation Committee that the Dangote refinery would be up and running in March 2023. Hence, there will be no need to make provisions for subsidy in 2023-2024 budget. Unfortunately, provision for subsidy in the 2023 budget elapsed by the end of June 2023. Yet, the Dangote refinery commissioned in May 22nd is not ready, while the nation's 3 refineries remain moribund. Despite these harsh economic realities, President Bola Tinubu, on his inaugural speech, said subsidy is gone. And by that singular announcement, in less than 24 hours, the nation's economy took a drastic turn as cost of living skyrocketed to the high heavens. And barely 24 hours after the announcement, the same Nnpc'S Limited despite having imported premium motor spirit (PMS) at a subsidized rate in stock in a manner as to adding salt to injury, jacked up price of PMS from 189 naira per litre to above 500 naira per litre, leaving majority of the Nigerian populace ground in economic hardship. And still at the commissioning of the half-baked refinery, Godwin Emefiele, the now suspended famous central bank governor, announced that Dangote had paid 70% of the loan it took for construction of the refinery. One would be forced to ask, how did a refinery that is not operational raise money to pay 70% of its loan? The Nigerian Stock Exchange does not have any record of share sales in relation to Dangote Refinery other than the Nnpc investment. The former CBN boss said the refinery was initially estimated to cost about $9 billion, but that the project cost escalated and was eventually completed with a total of $18.5 billion. The amount, he said, constituted 50% equity investment by Dangote and 50% debt financed by banks. Emefiele said the CBN also partnered with the Dangote Group to ensure successful completion of the project by providing about 125 billion naira for domestic currency requirements, while also ensuring the availability of foreign exchange to pay for imported equipment. There seems to be more than meets the eye in this whole imbroglio. One would wonder to what end are all these energy and efforts expended by the Nnpc Limited and the CBN to aid a private refinery, a competitor work, while the nation's refineries continue to lay waste despite the huge finances and federal government claims to have committed to the turnaround maintenance of the facilities. This trend was a similar move made by the federal government when Aliko Dangote came into cement production. The government brought in a fictitious quality standard designed to restrict cement supply to its company and cut off all imports from other companies. The same style has now been adopted to grant Dangote the exclusive right to supply petrol to Nnpc at a price determined by Dangote and its cohorts. In conclusion, it can be deduced that the subsidy removal was planned and agreed by the government as a precondition for Dangote to build the 650,000 barrels per day refinery, even when the world over was gradually moving away from fossil fuel. The removal of subsidy on petrol is to maximize profits for the owners of Dangote Refinery, who are obviously Muhammadu Buhari, Mele Kyari, Godwin Emefiele, and so on. The list is endless. They do not care about the well-being of Nigerians, as the government has failed to provide any form of social security and welfare for its citizens. Stories about providing loans and palliatives to cushion the effects of the subsidy removal are all geared towards deceiving the Nigerian people, as usual. They do not realize that the Nigerian state is gradually drifting towards the state of anarchy. However, if the Mele Kyari's Nnpc Limited and the CBN feel otherwise about the position, they should also extend same gesture to other private entities investing in the nation's petroleum industry. A quick pick will be the Abdul Samad Rabiu Bua Group, which is currently constructing the Akwa Ibom Tre petrochemical refinery in Ebeno, Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria, which expected to commence operations 2024. This call or challenge has become imperative, owed to the huge contribution of the Niger Delta in providing the economic sustenance of the country for several decades. A functional refinery in the Niger Delta would guarantee rapid infrastructure and human capital development, while the issue of underdevelopment of the Niger Delta, despite its huge contribution to the nation's economy, cannot be stressed enough. Since it now only shows interest in supporting private sector players thrive in the petroleum sector to ensure fairness and a level playing field, the CBN should equally extend its kind gesture to invest in the Bua refinery to fast-track its completion for the benefit of the Niger Delta and the nation at large. Our prayers are simple. We call on the 10th National Assembly to, as a matter of necessity, probe the $26.5 billion so far expended by successive governments within the past 27 years in the so-called turnaround maintenance of the Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna refineries. According to Guardian report of March 21, 2021, the said sum is capable of building 3 new refineries of the same size going by the cost analysis of refinery projects across the world. 2. That the 10th National Assembly should probe the failure of full operation of the 3 nations' refineries despite assurance by the immediate past administration that it would facilitate the complete rehabilitation of the Warri and Kaduna refineries before the end of the administration's lifespan, after it approved $1.5 billion for the turnaround maintenance of the Port Harcourt refinery. 3. That the National Assembly should probe the activities of Chief Executive Officer of the Nnpc'S Limited, Mele Kyari, and intensify efforts on the ongoing probe of the CBN under the regime of its suspended governor, Godwin Emefiele, over their roles on the failure of the country's petroleum industry under former President Muhammadu Buhari. 4. That this is also a clarion call on all compatriots, men of goodwill and youths of the Niger Delta to lend their voices to this cause in order to rescue our collective commonwealth from the hands of a few individuals and restore it back to the generality of the Nigerian people. Thank you and God bless you.